Today we're exploring 10 of the most extraordinary 8K OLED televisions available right now. Displays that represent the absolute cutting edge of what home entertainment technology can achieve. We're talking 4 times the resolution of 4K, combined with the perfect blacks and infinite contrast that only OLED can deliver. These are the televisions that define the summit of the industry, built for those who refuse to compromise and want the finest possible image in their home. Whether you're a dedicated cinephile, a serious gamer, or simply someone who believes the best is worth having, these picks are as good as television gets. Let's get started. Number 10, Hisense U9N 8K OLED. The Hisense U9N 8K OLED is a statement of intent from a brand that has been systematically climbing the premium TV ladder, and it makes for a genuinely compelling entry into the 8K OLED conversation. Hisense's HiView Engine Pro processor handles the critical task of 8K upscaling with impressive competence. Because almost nothing you watch is natively 8K, the intelligence of that upscaling engine is what determines how good your content actually looks day to day. Brightness levels are among the highest in the OLED category, ensuring HDR highlights genuinely dazzle rather than merely impress. The Vide smart platform is clean and responsive, and gaming performance is strong with low input lag across all HDMI inputs. For buyers who want to enter the 8K OLED world without immediately spending flagship money, the Hisense U9N is a serious and surprisingly accomplished starting point. Number 9, TCL X955 8K OLED. The TCL X955 8K OLED continues TCL's remarkable journey from budget brand to genuine premium contender. And at the 8K level, the results are impressive enough to demand attention. TCL's AIPQ Ultra processor drives the upscaling workload with real sophistication, pulling detail and texture out of 4K and even lower resolution source material and rendering it convincingly across all those extra pixels. The Google TV platform is one of the best smart systems in the business, fast, content-forward, and deeply integrated with the Google ecosystem. Mini LED backlighting in the TCL lineup has given their engineers strong expertise in maximizing luminance, and that knowledge carries over into how they push their OLED panels to their brightness limits. The X955 is the TV for the ambitious buyer who wants 8K OLED capability and Google's smart platform under one roof at a price that doesn't require a second mortgage. Number 8, Philips OLED+908 8K. The Philips OLED+908 8K is the most experiential television on today's list because Philips doesn't just sell you a screen, they sell you a room transformation. Ambilight at the 8K level is something genuinely special. 4-sided reactive lighting that bathes your entire viewing environment in colors synchronized to what's happening on screen, making the visual field feel dramatically larger than the panel itself. The P5 AI dual picture engine handles 8K processing with Philips's characteristic emphasis on natural film-like image quality. This is a television that prioritizes how content feels over raw specification chasing. Bowers & Wilkins audio integration on the OLED+908 elevates the sound experience to match the picture with a speaker system that does genuine justice to Dolby Atmos soundtracks. If you want your 8K OLED purchase to change not just what you see, but how your entire room feels when watching, the Philips OLED+908 is utterly unique. Number 7, Panasonic MZ2500 8K. The Panasonic MZ2500 8K is the choice of professionals, colorists, and filmmakers, people who need to know that what they're seeing on screen is the truth. Panasonic's HCX Pro AI MK2 processor has been refined over years of collaboration with Hollywood studios and post-production facilities, and that expertise is visible in every frame of content this television displays. Skin tones are rendered with a naturalness and accuracy that more processing-heavy competitors consistently fail to match. Filmmaker mode on the MZ2500 is implemented with particular rigor, stripping away every form of artificial enhancement to present content exactly as its creators intended. The 8K panel's resolution advantage is fully leveraged through Panasonic's upscaling, which preserves fine texture and film grain rather than smearing it into digital smoothness. For the viewer who treats television as an art form worth respecting, the Panasonic MZ2500 8K is the purist's ultimate choice. Number 6. Sony Bravia Master Z9M 8K. The Sony Bravia Master Z9M 8K carries the word master in its name, and this television earns that designation through the depth and sophistication of its XR processing architecture. Sony's cognitive processor XR analyzes content in a fundamentally different way from its rivals, cross-analyzing multiple elements simultaneously to replicate how human visual attention actually works, rather than simply applying filters to isolated image parameters. The result is a picture with a sense of depth, dimensionality, and realism that is immediately apparent and genuinely difficult to walk away from. At the 8K level, Sony's upscaling takes on additional importance, and the Z9M handles it with extraordinary grace. Native 8K content looks stunning, while 4K HDR material is elevated convincingly without looking artificially processed. Acoustic Surface Audio Plus uses the panel itself as a speaker array, creating precise sound-image integration. The Z9M is Sony's vision of what 8K television should feel like, and that vision is compelling. Number 5. Samsung QN900D 8K OLED. The Samsung QN900D 8K OLED is where Samsung's QD OLED technology meets the full ambition of 8K resolution, and the combination produces some of the most visually spectacular images a television has ever shown. Samsung's quantum dot layer sits in front of the OLED emitter, producing color saturation and volume that exceeds what traditional walled panels can achieve, and at 8K resolution, that color advantage is rendered across tens of millions of individual pixels for a result of extraordinary richness. The NQ8 AI Gen 3 processor handles upscaling, motion, and color processing simultaneously with impressive fluency. Tizen OS is Samsung's most refined smart platform yet. Fast and intuitive with excellent gaming hub integration for cloud gaming services. The near borderless infinity screen design means the image appears to float in your wall rather than sit on it. The QN900D is a television of genuine visual ambition. Number 4, LG Z4 8K OLED. The LG Z4 8K OLED is the work of the company that invented consumer OLED television applied to the most demanding resolution format available, and the results reflect decades of panel manufacturing expertise that no competitor can replicate overnight. LG's A9 AI processor Gen 7 drives the 8K experience with particular refinement in two critical areas: upscaling intelligence and motion processing. The upscaling in the Z4 is among the most convincing available, drawing genuine perceived detail from 4K source material without the artificial edge sharpening artifacts that lesser implementations produce. Brightness has been pushed to levels that make the Z4 viable even in challenging room lighting conditions. The WebOS smart platform on LG's flagship tier is impeccably fast, and 4 HDMI 2.1 ports make this a powerhouse gaming display alongside its cinematic credentials. The LG Z4 is what 8K OLED looks like when the people who built the technology decide to show you what it can really do. Number 3, Sony Bravia A95N 8K QD OLED. The Sony Bravia A95N 8K QD OLED is arguably the most technically sophisticated television Sony has ever produced, combining their best-in-class XR processing with a QD OLED panel that delivers color performance at a level that conventional OLED simply cannot reach. QD OLED's quantum dot architecture produces primary color purity, the redness of reds, the blueness of blues, the greenness of greens, that gives every image a vibrancy and three-dimensionality that immediately distinguishes it from every other display technology. Sony's processing sits on top of that panel with characteristic restraint and intelligence, letting the hardware's natural strengths shine rather than layering artificial enhancement over them. The A95N's acoustic surface audio system is Sony's finest implementation, with the entire OLED panel vibrating to produce sound that appears to emanate from the exact point on screen where you're looking. This is a television built with the kind of joined-up thinking that produces results greater than the sum of their parts. Number 2, Samsung S990D 8K QD OLED. The Samsung S990D 8K QD OLED sits at the very pinnacle of Samsung's display ambitions, and it represents the most complete expression of what QD OLED technology is capable of when cost is no longer the primary constraint. The color volume this television achieves is genuinely without peer in the consumer display world. DCI-P3 coverage is near total, and the luminance at which it maintains that color saturation exceeds every rival in the category. HDR content on the S990D doesn't just look bright, it looks incandescent, with highlights that feel physically present in a way that lesser displays can only approximate. The NQ8 AI Gen 3 processor has been optimized specifically for the demands of the QD OLED panel, squeezing every last advantage from the hardware beneath it. Samsung's gaming ecosystem on this television is world-class, with the gaming hub, cloud gaming integration, and hardware-level variable refresh rate support combining to make it as formidable a gaming display as it is a cinematic one. The S990D is a television that makes a serious argument for being the greatest display Samsung has ever made. Number 1, LG Z5 8K OLED. The LG Z5 8K OLED takes the top spot on today's list, and it does so because it represents something that only LG, as the world's foremost manufacturer of OLED panels, can truly deliver. 8K OLED at its most mature, most refined, and most fully realized. LG has been building OLED televisions longer than anyone, and the accumulated expertise that goes into the Z5 is evident in every dimension of its performance. The A11 AI processor Gen 2 pushes 8K upscaling to new standards of intelligence, analyzing scene content, texture complexity, and motion dynamics to reconstruct perceived 8K detail from lower resolution sources with a convincingness that must be seen to be believed. Peak brightness on the Z5 reaches levels that finally put 8K OLED on equal footing with the brightest competing technologies without sacrificing a single one of the contrast and black level advantages that make OLED the foundation of choice for serious display enthusiasts. The WebOS platform is LG's most refined yet, personalized, responsive, and deeply intelligent about what you want to watch and when. 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, and comprehensive HDR format support ensure that no source, no content, and no use case is left behind. The Z5 is the television that defines what 8K OLED can be in 2025, and there is simply nothing better to watch television on.